Hello. In the last lesson, we started to go over what a scaffold is in more detail and what parameters it has. In this video, we will discuss one of the most important and useful parameters of the scaffold in Flutter, namely the drawer. First, let's understand what a drawer is. A drawer is a user interface element that allows the user to open a side panel with various options or navigation. You've probably seen it in apps. It's the menu that slides out from the side when you swipe from the edge of the screen or tap the icon with 3 lines. The drawer is very useful for creating easy navigation within the app. It usually contains a list of links to different screens in the app or useful controls like settings, user profile, etc. Let's move on to practice and see how to add a drawer to our Flutter app. First, we need to ensure that we have an app bar, because when creating a drawer, Flutter will automatically place the 3-line icon in the app bar. When this icon is clicked, the drawer will open. Of course, we can control this manually, but this is not needed very often. Nevertheless, we will still look at how to do this when necessary. Next, let's talk about the parameter itself. This parameter takes a widget. Usually, a drawer object is passed to it. A drawer is essentially a container for widgets where we can place various elements. Let's run the code. As we can see, our app bar now has the icon we talked about. Clicking on it opens a menu that we can collapse. The drawer itself is empty, so let's fill it with content. To do this, we'll use its child parameter, which is a widget. I suggest using a list view, which we covered in one of the previous lessons. Basically, it's like a column, but with the ability to scroll down. Let's use the drawer header widget as the first element. The drawer header is the top part of the drawer, typically used to display a title, user avatar, or other important information. It also has a child parameter, and we will add simple text to it. Let's slightly change its style by using the style parameter, which we've done before. We'll change the color, size, and font weight. This parameter controls the boldness of the text and is of type font weight. This class has static fields that are usually used to pass values. The higher the value, the bolder the text. Let's pass a value of W700. Next, our drawer header has a decoration parameter. It's similar to the container's decoration, which we discussed in previous lessons. It usually takes a box decoration object. Let's set the color of our drawer header using the color parameter. After restarting the code, we see that the top of our menu now looks different. I agree, it doesn't look great, but we're using these parameters as an example. Now, for the next element after the drawer header, let's use a widget called List Tile. List Tile is a built-in widget in Flutter used for creating items commonly found in lists and navigation menus. It provides a simplified way to create a widget with an icon, title, subtitle, and optional trailing elements, making it convenient for building list items with a simple and understandable structure. Let's pass a title parameter, which is a widget. We will pass some text to it. We will also pass a trailing parameter, which is also a widget. We will pass an icon to it. After restarting the code, we see that our menu now has an item with an icon in the menu. Let's use a for loop to create more list tile items. Let's have 20 items. We'll change the text to make it unique for each item. As we remember, we have access to the variable from the loop when creating a widget, but we'll add 1 to it so that the items start from 1 instead of 0. After restarting the code, we see that we now have 20 items, which we can scroll through thanks to the list view. Now, let's talk about how to open this menu programmatically. Let's do this by tapping the container in the center of the screen. For this, we need to refer to our scaffold, specifically to get its instance. To do this, we use the static of method of the scaffold and pass it the context. After getting the instance, we need to call the open drawer method. Let's restart the code. After tapping the container, we see an error. The issue is that our context didn't find the scaffold. This is because we're using the context from the build method's parameters, which is created before our widgets are returned and created. Therefore, our context is unaware that a scaffold exists. We've encountered this issue before when we were working with navigation. To solve this problem, we can wrap our container in its own widget. We will create a simple, stateless widget. And in its build method, we will return our container with an inkwell. We will then use our new widget in our scaffold. Now, when we refer to the context, we refer to a context that was created after the scaffold was created, and therefore it knows about its existence. Now, after restarting the code and tapping the container, we see that everything works. Our menu opens and we can close it by tapping any empty space. Today, we covered how the drawer works in Flutter in detail. We looked at how to create and customize it. Under the hood, the drawer is simply a panel that animates over the main content, and the scaffold handles all of this. I hope you now understand how it works and how it can be customized for your needs. If you have any questions, feel free to ask them in the comments and I'll try to answer them. If you liked this video, don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss new lessons. See you in the next videos.